Dear friends, hello. I hope that you are safe during these very challenging times. I was so honored when the Commonwealth Forum of National Human Rights Institutions invited me to take part in this campaign that highlights the essential role of national human rights institutions in the promotion and protection of the human rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and gender diverse persons around the world. It's particularly important to me that this campaign refers to organizations that are in charge of carrying out this work in what I think are some of the most challenging environments on Earth. I was also delighted to be invited to narrate the video that accompanies the campaign. I don't believe I will be taking any job from David Attenborough anytime soon, but I was delighted to be able to convey the voice of the mandate of the independent expert, quite literally, to the contents of this campaign. It is essential that it is known that we are all of us together in furthering this essential agenda. LGBT people face significant challenges everywhere in the world. Not only are they subject to particular levels of violence, but systemic exclusion from the sectors of education, employment, health, and housing place them in a situation of particular disadvantage. And it's within that position of disadvantage that they have come to suffer the impact of COVID-19. The pandemic is affecting people differently, and LGBT persons come to it within a position of vulnerability. They are overrepresented in the ranks of the poor, the homeless, and those with systematic health outcomes that are lower than when compared with other persons. Within this position, the mandate has been researching on the impact of COVID-19 in our communities and populations. I have been able to observe three main trends in relation to this issue. The first one, which I already announced, is the fact that although the pandemic affects everyone in this world, it affects different communities and persons in different ways. And LGBT persons come to it from a position of particular disadvantage. A disadvantage that in very many cases is compounded in unique experiences of discrimination based on the reunion of many identities in one body, some or all of them causes for systemic discrimination, socio-economic status, race, ethnicity, religion, and others compound themselves to create, in very many cases, unique experiences of discrimination. The second trend, quite worrying, is one that reveals that certain states and governments are using the pandemic as an excuse to attack, persecute LGBT persons, or attempt to withdraw their rights. I am worried about certain attempts at legislation that would withdraw the capacity of legal recognition of gender identity from certain persons, particularly trans persons. I'm also worried at selective raids of LGBT shelters under the guise of protection of public health. It must be remembered that measures adopted in the context of COVID-19 are subject to a strict framework. They must be necessary, they must be proportional to the objective sought, they must be reasonable, and they must be non-discriminatory. The use of COVID-19 measures to persecute LGBT persons creates great harm to the whole of society and must be considered an aberration. Thirdly, I have been very much admiring the work of civil society in these times. Networks of solidarity, of support, have demonstrated their worth since the very first day of the pandemic. And it is necessary to ensure that states support and recognize this work, that they recognize the expertise of LGBT persons over their own lives and that of their communities. After all, this is not the first pandemic that the LGBT community faces, and it is not the first time that it proves extraordinary strength and resolve in the face of adversity. We must all learn from our elders and the way that they have strengthened their networks of support at times like this. And I believe that states will be well advised to make use of that expertise and that strength and that resilience in the design and implementation of integral measures to fight the pandemic. Again, I'm very grateful to the Commonwealth Forum of National Human Rights Institutions for having created this conversation. It is timely, it is essential, and it is desired by many around the world. I wish you great success in your activities, and please know that the mandate of the independent expert is always there to support your very, very important mission. Thank you very much.